Once again, you're welcome back to class, and this time around we want to work on the square roots, the cube roots, the memory, as well as the change background. So those are the three things we'll be doing, and that's where we'll be wrapping it up for this calculator app. So let's start. We start with the square root sign. Just as we did for cos, sine and tan, we set the display rules and also set the sign accumulator value. So remember, we used 10 for the last value, which is tan. Now we are coming to 11 and 12. So we have set values 11 and 12. So when our more button is 1, you set the sign accumulator to 11, and the question screen will show the square root sign, while the display question also is set to the square root sign, so that it can transfer it when the equal to sign is clicked. So also, if the more button is set to 2, that is, you've clicked the more button, it will set the sign accumulator to 12, such that it will perform the 12th operation now, which is standing for the cube root. So we'll set the text view also to cube root and set the display question to cube root. Now when this is done, we go to our equal to sign, and here you see I've added these 11 and 12. So let me try to drag it out so you can see what I did. Now this is what I did, just the same way we've done it before, but this time around we won't be using the conversion to radian and conversion to degrees, because this is just the square root and the cube root. For us to assign values to the square root, we use the square root math function. So this will get our digits from the digit accumulator, then find the square root of it and save it to our variable d. And also on the answer screen, we'll set d to the value. I will set the answer screen to the value of d, and the digit accumulator also is saved as d. The same thing happens when we come to the function 12, which is the cube root. Remember, the cube root means raised to power 1 over 3. So for us to get the cube root on our calculator, we'll be using the math function, raised to power, yes, where is it? Yes, this is it, to the power this. So what we are saying is we are assigning the digit accumulator to the power of 0.33333, as many as you can afford to put there, you can. So this 0.333 means 1 over 3. That's why we are using it that way. So with that, it will give us the cube root of our number. So, and when the cube root is already stored to d, the answer screen displays the value in d, and the text accumulator, the digit accumulator, is also set to the value of d. With that done, you now plug it back. You plug it back to where we are, directly under 10, just like this. You plug it, So with this, we have configured our cube root and square roots. Having completed that, we want to work on our memory. The memory is meant to save values to the calculator memory, just to hold it temporarily. Yes, these are the blocks we will need. We used an if else block. So the if else block is what we'll first use, and inside it we'll need to create a variable. We will need to create two variables. One is the status of the memory, and the two is the memory itself. So for the status of the memory, I called it status, and for the memory itself, I call it memory save. So just come to your variable, create status, a number variable, and then create memory save. These are the two variables you'll be needing, and just as you can see, they are round. They are all number variables. So having created that, like I said, you drag in your if else block. Then in the if else block, you introduce your operator equal to. So what we want to do is that we want to state that when the status is 0, that is at the normal status, when the status is 0 and the memory sign is clicked, once the memory sign is clicked and the status is 0, it should set the mem sign, that our m for memory. So it should set a memory sign, to m plus. That's what that does. Then it sets the memory save. What that does is that it sets the memory save, that is the content that you want to save. It sets it to the value that is in the digit accumulator. Probably just done 2 times 2 equals to 4. So automatically when you press the memory button, it just goes into the digit accumulator, gets the 4 and save it on the memory. So once the 4 is saved to the memory, the next thing is that it will display this on the screen. It will display that the saved value is so. Then we convert the memory value to a string using the operator to string, and then add the memory save. So what this does is that it just takes what's in the memory and displays it for the user to see, so that it won't be that the calculator is saving something else from what the user intends. And after this is done, then increment the value in the status. So it increases the value in the status by 1. So automatically the state of the memory status is now 1. It's 0 before, so 0 plus 1 makes 1. So now that the value is 1, the next time the user presses the memory sign, the status is already 1, which is different from 0, so it performs this else function. So this else function, what it does is that it first sets the mem sign to empty, so it doesn't show anything. So then it sets the digit accumulator to the value that is in the memory save. That is, it takes the value from the memory save and saves that into the digit accumulator. One more thing I must do is that I need to clear the memory save at this stage, then set the memory save, though these may not be as very important, but let's do that. So memory save, we'll set it to 0 such that there is nothing saved on the memory. So the text view will display what's inside the digit accumulator on the screen so that you can see what was saved on the calculator. And with that, we are done. So we could run our app. One more thing, which is the background color. So we want to work on the background color. So for the background color, I'll be selecting the layout where I inserted the change background. I won't be selecting the text itself because the user might be a little bit confused pressing the right part of the text. So I'll be using the layout. So and on click, what should happen is that first it should increase the I created a variable, and the name of the variable is color. So I added a variable, a number variable, so and I set its name to color. Just as you can see, current name is unavailable just because I've created that before. Then you click add. So I haven't created that color variable. You set the variable color. Okay, I'll still get back to that. If the color variable is set to 1, automatically it should display the color which I've selected here, which is red. And if the color is set to 2, it should display purple. If it's set to 3, it should display blue. If it's set to 4, it should display green. If it's set to something more than 4, it should first set back the color to 1. So when it sets the color back to 1, the value of 1 is red, as you can see. So I will still set the value of 1 here to red. Is that alright? So, and another thing I must mention is that every time it's clicked, there is always an increase of 1. That's why this first block, this orange block is there. It increases the value of color by 1 every time it's clicked. Now, having done all this, automatically our color will continue to change with every click of the change background. Also, as a final touch to our app, we need to add these on create functions. Now, you notice that the more button, until it is clicked, the cos and the sine, as well as the tan and the square root, they don't work by default. It shows arc cos, arc tan, and arc sine, as well as the cube root by default when they are clicked. So to avoid this, you set your more button on create to 1. So that means by default your more button is set to 1. And also the color, also the background color by default is set to 1. So this will avoid some of those errors you encountered initially. If you have done all this, I believe your calculator is already set for production and you can now run it. Now we want to test our app. So I'll start with the background change. You can see it's changing the value of our background accordingly. Also, I want to press my sign. You can see it's showing my sign 30. It's showing the answers directly. So then I want to test this. The square root of 4, the square root of 4 equals to 2, and the cube root, the cube root of 4 is this. Okay, the cube root of 27 should be 3. You can see. Then cube root of 8 should be 2. Is 2, so I can save that to my memory. So the saved value is 2.0. Now clear. 4 times 8 equals to 32. Now I want to recall what was in the memory. 2.0, that's what's in my memory. Then times 8 is 16.0. You can see that all the buttons are now working fine. So I want to congratulate you for the success of the creation of this app.